my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. Subscribe and hit the bell icon now. So we are discussing today how to survive and thrive clubbing when you're asexual. So if you're new to this channel, you don't know what asexuality is. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that is the lack of sexual attraction. And basically, in terms of me, I'm a sex repulsed asexual. Personally, for me, I am fine with people who have sex, who want it, it's consensual and enjoy it. But I'm not interested in sex personally for me. And so when I go clubbing, obviously, there's always a risk of guys coming onto me sexually, guys saying sexual stuff to me, guys sexually maybe touching me. And this applies to you if you are an asexual who's thinking about going clubbing. Now, I know a lot of asexuals do not go clubbing because they're worried that a guy is going to come onto them, that, or it could be any gender, but I talk mostly to women who are interested in guys. So, or my non-binary or guy friends are into guys as well, the majority of the time. So, it's mostly about they worry about guys coming onto them and using them as a piece of meat and all this lot, right? And years ago I would be more worried about that, but nowadays I'm very, very confident that I know how to handle myself in a nightclub. And so for me personally, I love clubbing because it's a way to release stress. It's a way to just feel good, so good. I feel really euphoric when I go there. I love the music. I love dancing. I go there primarily to dance and to be around like-minded people who just all on the same page when it comes to like being in the moment, enjoying life in this present day. And, some people practice mindfulness in order to be present. I love going clubbing and feeling the music and closing my eyes and dancing and just enjoying it and being with that vibe, being with the flow of the music and respond accordingly to the music via movement. And so when I go clubbing, I purposely am very, very confident. This requires you in your mind to be happy with what you're dressed like as much as possible, be happy with your own body, whatever shape and size it is. I make sure that obviously in the mirror, I'm saying stuff to myself like I'm sexy, I'm gorgeous, I'm hot, I'm beautiful. And when you pump yourself up, when you basically say things to yourself that's really good, that's bringing you up, that's making you feel great about yourself, it gives you a whole new aura or different aura to most people who go clubbing. Because some people get so self-conscious clubbing that you can tell they're apprehensive. If you're going to be asexual who's going to a nightclub, you need to be very, very confident, ideally, in who you are, what you want, and your boundaries. So this is how you survive and thrive as an asexual in a nightclub, is you have to be very, very confident. Most people would go to a nightclub in groups. So if you want to go in a group of people, that's perfectly okay. You might find that more supportive. You might find you get less chance of harassment. You might just feel stronger being with a group of people, even if that's a small group of people. I personally can go clubbing on my own, right? Because I'm bold and brave like that. And also because I'm very, very confident. I do have big muscles for a girl, which does help. That makes me feel stronger. So if you're a female who's into like weightlifting or, just generally keep your arm muscles toned, then that's going to help you feel more confident. So confidence is a really big key theme here. You need to be confident in your thoughts, in your mannerisms, in your body language, in the way you act, the way you are, the way you hold yourself. So when I'm clubbing, I have this air of confidence about me. I purposely make sure I'm confident. I kind of like push myself to be confident. And so when I go to my favorite club, Timepiece, I get up on the stage and I just feel so amazing. And I purposely like stand there and dance in front of everyone. But I focus on something on the ceiling or on the walls usually. So I'm not directly staring at anyone. and I'm not directly looking at anyone, because if you look at some people and some people start making weird faces at you, start putting you off your own dancing, start being not so nice to you, then it's going to just distract you and make you feel like rubbish. And so you don't want to be doing that. You do not want to be, making yourself feel self-conscious, because if you're looking at other people looking at you, you're just going to get self-conscious. You're not going to last 5 minutes there, really, and you're just going to be so worried about what people think. You have to go with the attitude that you don't care what people think. You'll do your own sort of dancing. If people don't like it, F it, and just be you. And what I do is I keep myself to myself a lot of the time. I do a lot of dancing. I'm doing it in front of everyone so people can see me, but I'm very much in my own zone. Like I said, I'm looking at the ceiling, I'm looking at the walls, and I don't particularly pay attention to anyone. That way I come across really as confident, as cool in my own abilities. I come across as, well, don't mess with her, but she's still awesome and having a great time, and she's amazing because she's feeling the music and she's just here to enjoy herself. And that is very attractive. When someone's totally in the vibe of dancing, they're doing their own thing, they're looking really good, they're looking energetic, it's very attractive. It's much more attractive than someone looking at the crowd thinking, what is people thinking of me? You have to really not give a damn about what people think, or at least try to not give a damn about what people think, and just enjoy yourself. Because you might get people taking the mickey out of you, but all you've got to do is pretend you don't know they're taking the mickey out of you, really, and act like you're dumb in that way. I know it sounds horrible, and just don't ignore them, and look the other way and think that they're the stupid ones. Because someone even tries to take the mickey out of me, I would just look the other way, as much to say they're being stupid, So always have that as kind of like a backup plan, that if people do decide to take the mickey, you just ignore them and you just look at them like they're being really weird. And it will really freak them out because they don't expect you to react like that. So be confident. Psych yourself up before you go. Tell yourself you're beautiful, gorgeous, and make yourself feel confident. Don't stare at anyone. Don't look at anyone specific unless they look at you and they start coming over. So when I'm dancing on my own, it's kind of like I'm quite in my own zone, don't need to talk to anyone, don't need to speak to anyone, but I get people coming up to me that are interested in dancing with me and want to tell me my dancing's good. So as soon as someone comes in my eye line and kind of focuses on me, as in they want my attention in a good way, then I'll go, oh, like this, and start smiling, and they can come over and dance with me. So I make sure I'm friendly and approachable, as well as being a bit standoffish, like don't touch me, I'm doing my own thing. So I've got a good contrast between don't touch me, I'm doing my own thing, I don't want to be messed with, I don't want people coming into my zone, and I don't want, harassment or anything like that. So I'm kind of a bit cool and standoffish in the sense that, I'm not to be messed with, but I'm also really friendly and welcoming and approachable at the same time. So people can come, they see me, and they'll start coming to do a bit of dancing and try to copy my dancing, and I'll just smile at them and let them to join in and allow them to dance with me, and we all have a good time together. So it's like that. I'm in my own zone. I'm kind of not needing anyone, but if anyone does show nice attitude towards me and want to join in with my dancing and pay me a bit of attention, then I'm okay with that too. And I'm friendly and approachable in that way and welcoming. So I think this works really well. I'm confident. Boundary driven is the other thing I would say as well. You have to have boundaries. So you have to have, limits on how much people can touch you or where they can touch you. But you have to understand that a nightclub, when it's packed, sometimes your backside can be touching someone else's backside or an arm or a leg. And even when it's not packed, even when I was on the stage part quite a bit, but I had guys that were and girl that was drunk, and they were nearly pushing me into the corner. In the end, I had to say, can I get through please, because I'm being squashed. But they do, even though my arms and legs are kind of going everywhere dancing, some of them just ignore that and they still just come up and push in front of me and stuff. You have to understand that in a nightclub, people do kind of like push to the front of the stage. So if you're there, you end up going further back. That's kind of like a given that people just do that. And I'm quite cool with it in the sense I know that's what clubs are like, but it does get a bit much when you're kind of squashed in the corner. It's like, well, where do I go to dance now? Because I'm completely squashed, and it's like, you're backing me into corner so much that I won't be able to get out in a minute at all. You know what I mean? And so that's a bit difficult to deal with. But you just got to know that you can overcome any obstacles, and it's harder to have boundaries in a club in the sense that people are so close to you sometimes. And obviously you always have the option to leave, go home, go to a different part of the dance club, which is, like different part of the dance floor in the club, I should say, that is less busy, that is, able to allow you to dance more freely. You're able to like leave at any time you want, go home, you can change your mind if you want, all these type of things. But I would say that confidence is key, not staring at one, not overthinking, just being there to have a good time by yourself, love yourself, think yourself gorgeous and beautiful, having strong boundaries, having this aura of you're not to be messed with, you're super strong. But if people approach you, you're also really friendly, kind and caring at the same time. So you kind of got the best of both worlds. So you have an air of authority about you and your own body. Like, this is me. This is what I want to do. This is how I am. And protectiveness over yourself. But you also have the kind of humility and humbleness to allow someone to dance with you and to join in and to be friendly in that way, And so this is how you can get on with people whilst also having an edge about you and an aura that just says, do not mess with me. One guy's like, is it all right if I put my drink there? And I'm like, yeah, but it was a bit weird. He was with his friend and he kept looking behind me. So whether he kept looking at my bum or not, I do not know. But, you're going to have to understand that in clubs, you're going to get some people doing something that, it might not be great. But, as long as you keep your boundaries, as in, like, try not to let people touch you in places you don't want to be touched and say not to be. But, like when you're in a club, you have to understand you are going to be touching each other on the arms, on the legs, sometimes the butt, it's just what happens. And I just accept that as part of clubbing. I don't like freak out about it. I only get a bit concerned about myself if people are getting too close, or if guys are, doing stuff that I'm not sure I like. They come over and they might start dancing with me, and I like, don't get your in my mind, I'm like, don't get your genitals near me. I'm like, I'm okay with this, but don't start coming on to me too much. Don't start coming, because it's all right. I don't mind a guy like holding out his hand for me to twirl around. I'm okay with that type of thing. But if a guy's starting to come near me to press his genitals against me and stuff like that, I don't like that. So it's kind of like, I mean, I have been exceptions to the rule with foreign guys, but in general, I don't like that. And so it's just like, you've got to be very aware of people around you whilst also not staring at them. I had this one guy there at the club and he was just like stood there staring at me. And when I tried to go, I was one of the first to leave the whole club. I think I was the first. And he was like over the other side of the room by this time. And I had to go past him. He was literally just stood there like this, like a statue staring at me. Really freaked me out. Anyway, I just went round him. I ended up brushing my elbow against him because he was in my way and I couldn't get round him. Because of where he specifically positioned himself. But I just think he was a crazy guy. You get them sometimes, You get some that like don't like the fact that you've ignored them and not danced with them. Or, they're just crazy. So you have to understand that you do get some crazy ones there, and you have to be able to raise your voice sometimes. That might sound counterintuitive, but if a guy is doing something or trying to do something to you that you don't like, you have to raise your voice. You have to like speak louder and say you don't like that. You have to make your voice heard, because if you don't, then something bad could happen to you for not speaking up. So you need to be able to speak up, you know, and if a guy's trying to come onto you, don't want it, you need to just tell him blatantly, you know, that it's not what you're interested in. So don't do that, you know. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, pop an emoji down below. I'd love to know what you think. Pop a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love to you. See you soon in the next video live stream. Bye.